My name is David Jaffe. Welcome to the Wealth and Health Podcast, where you'll learn valuable skills and positive habits that will improve your life. This podcast originally aired as a video on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/beststockstrategy. The Wealth and Health Podcast is brought to you by beststockstrategy.com. All right, y'all. It's time for another trading roast. I'm going to review this video, the top 10 stocks I'm buying to get rich in 2025 without getting lucky. Let's see what this guy has to say.
It's almost the new year, so you're probably seeing a lot of videos on the top stocks for 2025, but they're mostly filled with random companies and cherry-picked price charts. This video is a little different. Every stock on my list works together, so that I'm holding all the winners in a few massive markets that are growing fast thanks to AI. That's the best way to get rich without getting lucky. Your time is valuable, so let's get right into it. First things first, accountability is important. I made a video.
I feel like he's scripting out what he's saying, and then he's just talking, and he's speaking really slow. This type of video style wouldn't necessarily appeal to me, but this isn't about me, it's about you. So if the video is good, then that's all that matters.
Year ago, and here's how the stocks performed.
So let's see. NASDAQ, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Palantir, Amazon, Google, Fortinet, which I've actually never heard of, Palo Alto, AMD, and then Path. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. You got a lot of large cap tech stocks here. You have Palantir, which has a very strong brand and good management, and he's also heavily concentrated in technology. I probably would have added a few financials in here, something like Blackstone or JP Morgan, but let's see what he says for 2025.
This video, which covers the updates to this list for 2025. Here's the updated list of stocks for the.
So VGT, which is great, has a very low expense ratio. NVIDIA, which is one of my favorite stocks. Google, Amazon, Meta, AVGO, Palantir, ARM, CrowdStrike, Fortinet, and VRT. Yeah, I mean, this looks really good. I'd probably add Microsoft and remove ARM. I'd probably also add Tesla and Blackstone, and I'd remove AVGO in either Fortinet or Vertiv Holdings. The issue is that I'm not very familiar with Fortinet and Vertiv Holdings, so I'm not qualified to give you my opinion on which one should be removed. But let's move on and see what he says.
Stocks for the year. And there are timestamps so you can jump to different companies. In my opinion, the foundation of every solid long-term portfolio actually starts with a fund. So I decided to find a fund, and I landed on Vanguard's Information Technology ETF, ticker symbol VGT. Surprising no one, the next company on my list is NVIDIA, because they dominate the market for data center GPUs, which are the main kind of chip powering.
I think we know a lot about NVIDIA, so let's move on.
The reason I spend so much time covering NVIDIA is to understand how long they can defend this massive lead. I think this is the single most important question in the stock market today, because the global artificial intelligence market is expected to 11x in size over the next 9 years, which works out to a massive 30% compound annual growth rate through 2033. Based on everything I've learned by going to NVIDIA's headquarters, attending their GTC conferences, and interviewing their executives, I think that NVIDIA's hold on the data center GPU market looks a lot like Google's hold on the search market. Google will never get disrupted by another search engine. It'll get disrupted by generative AI-based agents that save users from manually having to search through tons of websites and advertisements. Likewise, I don't think NVIDIA will ever get disrupted by another GPU maker. They'll eventually get disrupted by a different kind of AI chip altogether. That's why I've taken AMD off my list for 2025. The other two stocks that I'll highlight in this category are Broadcom and Vertiv Holdings. Broadcom makes high-performance switches, network interface cards, wireless networking solutions, and custom application-specific integrated circuits, or ASICs, for the big hyperscalers. Also, about a year ago, Broadcom acquired VMware, which lets companies of all sizes set up virtual machines to do things like pool resources from multiple servers, to run more compute-intensive workloads, create isolated environments to process sensitive data, or create great software acquisitions for Broadcom, and why it has blue checks in these areas. Also, it turns out that power represents about 60 to 70% of the total operational cost of a data center, and cooling accounts for 40 to 50% of a data center's power consumption. That means that cooling alone represents anywhere from 24 to 35% of the total cost of operating a data center. Vertiv Holdings, ticker symbol VRT, makes power and thermal management systems for data centers. One nice thing about Vertiv's liquid cooling solutions is they can integrate with existing data center infrastructures, which lowers the total operational costs involved in transitioning from air cooling to liquid cooling. The global data center liquid cooling market is expected to grow by almost 6x over the next 9 years. Between NVIDIA, Broadcom, Vertiv, ARM, and the big 3 cloud providers, I can own almost the entire AI accelerator market, the data center infrastructure market, and the cloud service market without worrying about who's winning at any given time. That's how I'm virtually guaranteed to hold the winners in these quickly growing markets with just 5 or 6 stocks. No luck needed. Now let's switch gears to cybersecurity and enterprise software. CrowdStrike is the market leader in endpoint detection and response, with Gartner ranking them above great companies like Palo Alto Networks, SentinelOne, and even Microsoft for the 5th consecutive time. On the flip side, Fortinet focused on intrusion detection systems and firewalls, like with their FortiGate systems, which monitor and control network traffic based on predefined security rules. Fortinet also offers firewalls as a service through FortiGate Cloud for companies that don't need physical on-site solutions, and just like CrowdStrike, Gartner ranks Fortinet as the market leader for software-defined wide area networks, above huge companies like Hewlett-Packard, Broadcom, Cisco, and Palo Alto Networks. And speaking of market leaders, I saved the best performing company for last. Palantir makes AI-powered platforms that give huge enterprises a real-time view of their data to optimize their operations. Palantir tends to focus on high-risk and highly regulated markets like national security, heavy industries, medical, and international transport. And I really don't think they have any serious competition. And if they do, it's going to be from a company that's already near the top of this list. So I win no matter which company comes out on top. No luck needed. So one more time, here's my list from 2024 with the year-to-date performance. For 2025, I made the following changes. I replaced the NASDAQ 100 with Vanguard's IT ETF. I replaced Microsoft with Broadcom. I switched AMD out for ARM, Palo Alto Networks out for CrowdStrike, and UiPath for Vertiv Holdings. And because last year's list actually only had 9 stocks on it, I added Meta Platforms, since I strongly believe in the long-term performance of founder-led companies. And Mark Zuckerberg is one of the most experienced founders in all of Silicon Valley. So there you have it, my updated list of top 10 stocks to get rich without getting lucky in 2025.
I watched this whole video, and this guy's definitely legit. I don't sense any BS. He's very knowledgeable, very direct. His videos are thorough. I guess the only potential objection I have is that I'm not a huge fan of owning stocks, primarily because you can structure the investment to be much more capital efficient and also reduce your downside risk when you use options while also still taking advantage of the upside. But besides that, this guy's really good. I'm going to subscribe to him. I would definitely recommend following him. He's on point. I'm used to dealing with a lot of salespeople and a lot of BS, but I don't sense that at all with this guy. So he's definitely earned my subscription. And I'm also going to look into Fortinet and Vertiv Holdings. If you like this video, then click on the video that's popping up on your screen right now, because YouTube believes that you would enjoy it the most. Visit beststockstrategy.com and submit your email address to receive valuable free training. Please give this podcast a positive rating and review. If you have any questions, visit beststockstrategy.com and send me a message.